Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between TyLoo versus WEGIGALoner here on TyLooJim Alter. TyLooJim spawning as the red Protoss player. Meanwhile, we see Loner spawning as the blue Terran. Terran versus Toss on TyLooJim Alter, and I am expecting a much more macro style of play on TyLooJim Alter. There are a lot of expansions, and it's very easy for both Terran and Protoss to try to expand relatively early. We may see perhaps a Reaper expansion or even a 16-17 command center coming in from Loner. Meanwhile, coming in from TyLoo, and we'll see what TyLoo does in this particular matchup, as TyLoo did go for a very unorthodox proxy gateway in the Xel'Naga Caverns in Game 2 in order to put his opponent behind after a couple key SCVs were destroyed. And I don't think really Loner was able to stand back up and get back up to full capacity after being just so far behind there. TyLoo now chrono boosting out some probes. He may be going for, I believe, a 14 gateway. He knows that this map is rather large, so he could. No, it looks like it is just going to be your standard 12 gateway there. It is going to delay the probe production just a little bit. There's another probe. There's the second chrono boost. And now just going to try to continue to chrono boost as much as possible. Probes quickly doing a check and make sure that it is not going to be a full cross spawn here, or not. Actually, why exactly did that probe go around that particular route? Anyways, the probe making sure that it is not, or just scouting out in the counterclockwise direction. Meanwhile, Loner going in for a very, very greedy 15 command center, and perhaps going to try to build it off to the side, off over here. It is going to be revealed, though, when that probe comes around the corner, but there is still plenty of walking time, as Loner looking to get a very strong economic advantage once more. Loner really likes macroing up. It looks as though it will work out well for him, as we are now going into a barracks, a probe now making his rounds once again, and we'll see how all of this works out as the SCV just continuing to work once more. Probe just still wandering around. We are going to be going into an earlier Zealot, and TyLoo still has a lot of energy on this Nexus. This may just be his style, though, where he just chrono boosts out Zealots and Stalkers early as opposed to getting a strong economic advantage. I can't say I agree with this strategy, as I don't, but we'll see how all of this works out. He's now seen at 22/26, chrono boosting out the Warp Gate, as he's not going to be chrono boosting out the... Oh, he is chrono boosting out the Stalker. And this is one of those instances where I'm not quite sure if Protoss players really need a chrono boost out that second Stalker, especially if they don't see any scouting units coming in. Probe going to quickly swing by, and is he going to... No, he does not spot that orbital command. So being built in just the right location, TyLoo now looking for that expansion and trying to figure out where exactly it could be. He did not see any gas being harvested, so he knows that an expansion is most likely somewhere. He just can't seem to find it, as TyLoo getting some easy damage onto that SCV. SCV gets taken down with no effort really whatsoever. A little bit of stutter stepping there, as TyLoo now makes his rounds with a Stalker and a Zealot. Chrono boosting out that Warp Gate tech. We are going into a 4-gate, so TyLoo now going into a 4-gate, he should be able to get in about 4 Stalkers in just a moment. Now training up one more Stalker as well, knowing that the walking time is just enough. Zealot is going to be doing a little bit of a push out. Will it be able to finish off the SCV? Yes, it looks like the SCV can get taken down. Yes, down it goes. The Zealot does take a little bit of damage, and now going after some of those units. One Zealot gets taken down in here, and now it's going to be 2 Stalkers versus 4 Marines, but the Stalkers are quickly coming out ahead in this engagement, as the Stalkers, oh, now what, another Marine trying to come back in. 1 Stalker against a group of here. This is not good. That Stalker should not be engaging. And now going to get some easy damage. No, 1 Marine able to jump back inside. And now we're going to see some of those shields naturally recharge on those Stalkers. And then perhaps a round of Stalkers will be coming in. It looks like the Warp Gate is now just finishing, but the scanner sweep doesn't reveal very much. Only 1 additional gateway down over here. Sentries and Zealots. Backdoor pylon now warping in as well. Loner does not see this, and this is going to be very, very difficult, as the Zealots now trying to make their way in. There's the force field. There's one. There's the second one, as the Zealots able to get in some easy damage, but Loner able to fend it off, even though there were 2 force fields surrounding that bunker. More zealots still being added. The sentries perhaps need to get a little bit more gas. Once again, there is a third sentry to round it out. I believe once the sentries have about 50 energy each, they may be able to start to try to push up once again. There are a lot of Marines though, so Marines, SCVs over and ready to repair once more. More zealots being added. The stalkers really need to focus this down as another stalker being added. We are now at 49 over 50. And how is this all going to go down? In comes the battle here. The zealots being forced to pull back, and Tylo in a little bit of a weird situation. He has a much larger army, but unable to push against this very fortified, well-defended location. 3 bunkers, SCVs, and Marines. And now you can see that there are double probes back over here. The one refinery does spot this pylon, so I believe it will get shot down in just a little bit. We are now going to see 3 additional warp gates, still warping out more units, trying to get a stronger economy going once again. We are going to see another refinery come in, so we are going to be running off of 4 refineries as Loner has a very significant advantage now, especially since that 4-gate pressure didn't really amount to anything at all. Tylo still warping in more units. Tylo having the larger army, but an army that's not engaging is pretty much a waste of resources at this point, as he's not really doing much, especially if you have the larger army but are unable to punish your opponent with it. Marines still sitting back and relaxing. We are going to have more SCVs mining away once more, and just crazy macro from Loner, able to stay in this game and at this stage. 69 harvesters compared to 69. Marines going to be able to shoot down this one proxy pylon with really no effort whatsoever from the high ground. Shoot it down. It looks like there it goes. And now no real danger of any high ground shenanigans from pylons warping up onto the high ground. Stalker once again being forced to pull back here. More gateway units coming in as well. It looks like we could perhaps be chrono boosting out more probes once again in order to get a stronger economy. 37 compared to 47. That's exactly what Tylo needs to do in order to stay even in this game, as Loner is now going to start to pull away with it. Every minute he has this economic advantage, the more his army is going to be able to grow. And with TyLooJim not having such a strong economy, he's not going to be able to get those units out as well. You can see still a much larger army by about 1,000 resources by Tylo, and the zealots really need to time this well, do a bit of a push in just a moment. And there's the Guardian Shield, there's the Force Field, and waiting for critical mass on all of these gateway units. Zealots able to finish it off. We are getting a lot of sentries, and now SCVs are trying to repair, unable to really do so. SCVs now coming in down over here, another Force Field coming in. But I think really the defensive posture hurting just a bit too much, as the sentries are now going to be forced to re-engage. The Marines and the Marauders do not have stim yet, but I believe as soon as stim is ready, that's going to be really bad, as this one proxy pylon may get taken down. There's one force field, there's 2, but a lot of the force fields got doubled up, and that is not what you want to see as a Protoss player. You wanted perhaps another force field here, preventing many of the units from re-engaging. And I think the SCVs and the Marauders and the Marines will be able to take this victory here, as Loner still up on SCVs after losing all of those bunkers. Tylo now 53 over 92. Tylo still seems to be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see how, or if and how, he's going to be able to get back into this game, as the Marines and the Marauders are now taking down pylon after pylon, making sure that reinforcements are very difficult to come by. Tylo is still also having plenty of energy on his Nexus, and this Nexus here and this Nexus here, as we are now going to see Marines, Marauders continue to make their move out. Stalkers and Sentries going to be on the defensive end, but there may not be enough energy between these Sentries in order to fend off what may be a very large attack, especially as the Medevac's now going to be able to shoot straight from the low ground up onto the high ground. It could be an elevator drop as well, as yes, it looks like it is going to be an elevator drop up onto the high ground. The Marauders and the Force Field's now coming in as well. What's going to happen here? Now an engagement coming in. Stalkers and Zealots really unable to engage, as the Marines are now pushing back in. And there's the GG. Tylo losing Game 3 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.